Let Anapos get straight to the point. You live in a rundown neighborhood where misery piles higher than the rooftops. Here people do not live, they simply exist. You share a tin roof with your mother and your little sister. Your father died in a shootout between two rival gangs, Collateral Damage, in a war that was not his. Your mother is the only pillar of the house. So that you and your sister can go to school and have a future, she works 20 hours a day until she is exhausted. You strive in your studies with a clear dream to become a politician, to change the reality of your surroundings and give them the dignified life they deserve. One random afternoon, your mother falls seriously ill. The doctor at the local community clinic says she needs urgent surgery. The cost is $5,000. For a businessman in the rich part of the city, $5,000 is what he spends on a bottle of wine on a Tuesday afternoon. But for you, $5,000 is an astronomical figure. An unreachable fortune that is the absolute border between life and death. You try to borrow from the neighbors, but asking for money in your hood is like trying to squeeze water from a stone. No one has anything, and those who do have something do not trust a 14-year-old kid. You drop out of school and get a job as a loader at the Central Market. Your back cracks under the weight of boxes that weigh more than you. At the end of the day, they pay you $100. You arrive home excited to show the money to your mother, but you find her unconscious. Her time is running out. You run to ask your boss for an advance, but he laughs in your face. For him, empathy is not profitable. In absolute desperation, you see a flyer stuck to a light pole that says immediate loans, no cosigner, no questions asked. It is your only option. You go to the address, a back room full of smoke. The loan shark offers you the $5,000 with a shark smile and an interest rate of 50% weekly. You read the fine print of the verbal contract. The collateral is not your house because you do not have one. The collateral is your biological assets. If you do not pay, they collect with a functional kidney or a cornea. The good news is that they let you choose which one you want to keep. You sign the pact with the devil and pay for the surgery. The doctors do their job, but your mother Anapos' body gives up. The operation fails. She dies that same night, but mourning is a luxury that the poor cannot afford. Before you can even cry, the deadline for the first payment arrives. You do not have the money. The collectors do not give you their condolences, they give you a beating that leaves you spitting out teeth. They give you a simple ultimatum. You have 1 week to pay the capital and the interest, or they will take your little sister as final payment to sell her to a trafficking ring. Just when desperation makes you want to sell your soul, a stranger appears. A man approaches with a job offer. He does not ask for a resume or references, he just needs you to be small, fast, and to have a desperate need for money. 1 week and Apos' salary is enough to pay off the loan sharks. Since you have lived here all your life, you know perfectly well what it is about. It is drug trafficking across the border. If you are lucky, you get paid. If you are unlucky, you end up as an anonymous corpse in the desert. You accept, telling yourself the oldest lie of any criminal. It will only be this one time. In theory, the work is quite simple. You are a mule. The operations manager takes you to the entrance of a hidden natural cave. The hole is so narrow that only a malnourished 14-year-old boy could fit inside. For the first time in your life, hunger has given you a competitive advantage in the job market. They put a backpack on your back. Your mission is to crawl through the darkness following a series of marked rocks. You come out on the other side of the border. There is a watchtower in the distance. You move through the bushes with terror. Every branch that breaks sounds like a gunshot in your ear. You walk 2 miles until you find a specific dry tree. That is the drop-off point. You leave the merchandise and disappear. No one sees you, no one greets you. You are a logistics ghost. The job turns out to be suspiciously easy. For 7 days you cross the border, dodging the border patrol thanks to your wits and your size. You earn the money, pay the full debt, the loan sharks go away, and your sister is safe. You feel like the hero of a movie. Filled with pride and relief, you go to the middleman to tell him that you are retiring, that it was a pleasure doing business, but that you are returning to your honest life. Do you think this is like a summer job or like driving for an app where you can simply go offline whenever you want, but the recruiter looks at you with a paternal smile that freezes your blood? He takes out a phone and shows you a photo taken that same morning. It is your sister entering school, smiling, oblivious to everything. The man kindly explains the human resources policy of the organization. In this industry, there is no such thing as voluntary resignation. You have talent, and wasting talent is a capital sin here. Now you know too much. You know the routes, you know the faces, you know the system. You are no longer a temporary employee, you are a fixed asset of the company. The new job offer is simple and non-negotiable. You keep working for them indefinitely, or your sister will suffer a regrettable accident on her way home. In that instant, reality hits you harder than any fist. You realize that your success did not buy your freedom. On the contrary, you proved to be too useful to be free. The monetary debt was paid, but you just signed a permanent contract with your own life. There is no unsubscribe button in hell. 3 months later, the cave route collapsed metaphorically, and literally the police discovered it during another kid and Oppo's shift. He ended up in a juvenile detention center. You were saved by pure statistical luck. Management notices that you have something the others lack. You have brains. They decide you are too valuable to crawl on the ground like an insect. They promote you, give you a burner phone, a strategic location, and a new corporate title. Now you are a hawk. Your job is to be the eyes and ears of the cartel. For an average street kid, this is boring. But you are not average. You apply the same intelligence you used to get straight as in school. You memorize the patrol patterns of the federal police, identify undercover vehicles by the wear on their tires, and create alert codes that no one else understands. Your efficiency goes up 200%. The local territory boss calls you personally, gives you a cash bonus, and tells you 3 magic words. Good job, son. That phrase hits you harder than any drug. Since your mother died, no one had told you that you were worth anything. No one had looked at you with respect. Suddenly, dirty money buys clean shoes for your sister and hot food on the table. You start to rationalize the evil. You tell yourself that you are a provider, a protector, a businessman. The fear disappears and is replaced by something much more dangerous: pride. You are starting to like the game. It all happens on a stormy night. The rival gang decides to execute a hostile takeover of your territory using high-caliber lead instead of lawyers. You and your sister get caught in the crossfire while returning home. You try to protect her with your body, but the laws of physics are cruel and bullets have no moral compass. A stray projectile fired by an idiot who was not even aiming. It goes through your sister and Oppo's chest. Time stops. The sound of the rain mixes with the screams and the sirens. You remain motionless, kneeling in the mud mixed with blood, staring at her empty eyes. Your mind disconnects. You wait for the coup de grace. You want them to kill you, but death rejects you. A fellow gang member drags you by the collar of your shirt out of the line of fire just before a grenade turns your previous position into a smoking crater. You survive, but the boy who wanted to be a politician dies on that sidewalk. You spend 3 days staring at the wall in silence. When you finally get up, you are no longer an employee seeking approval. The sadness has evaporated, leaving in its place a solid block of ice. You swear before her empty grave that you will not seek justice because justice is for the rich. You will seek revenge, and you are not going to stop until you wipe their last names off the face of the earth. You decide that if you are going to be a monster, you will be the smartest one of all. Do you study the art of war with the same discipline with which you studied for your school exams? Your rise is meteoric. In 2 years, you are a zone manager. In 5 years, at the age of 30, you are the youngest deputy director in the history of the organization. In the legal corporate world, you would need a master's degree and 20 years of brown nosing to get there. Here, vacancies open up every time someone gets shot in the face. It's a brutally efficient meritocracy. When the old boss dies of a heart attack, chaos breaks out. The other lieutenants choose mindless violence. You choose politics. You understand a fundamental truth. Bullets kill people, but politics kills entire organizations. Instead of buying more weapons, you buy a presidential candidate. You find a politician with a lot of ambition and little morals, and you make him an investment offer. You finance his campaign with unlimited money, and he hands you the keys to the kingdom when he wins. It is a perfect symbiosis between organized crime and legalized crime. With power on your side, you begin your own public relations campaign. You use blood-stained money to build schools, hospitals, and pave the streets of your neighborhood. People call you the savior. You inaugurate a clinic named after your deceased mother. You tell yourself that you are fulfilling your dream of helping the poor, but deep down a voice whispers the truth to you. You are not helping anyone, you are only buying cheap loyalty and washing your conscience with bricks and cement. You have become the politician you dreamed of being as a child, only your mandate is based on corpses instead of votes. With political power in one hand and military power in the other, eliminating the competition ceases to be a war and becomes a simple bureaucratic procedure. You ascend to the throne, now you are the boss, the kingpin. And your first executive order is personal. The gang that murdered your sister does not receive a fair trial. Some die in casual confrontations with the police. Others simply vanish inside maximum security prisons. It is a cold, calculating revenge and ironically financed by the taxes of the citizens. You fulfill your commercial promise. Your political partner wins the elections. Now you have the president of the nation on your payroll. He is your most expensive employee, but also the most useful. With total immunity, you begin to play God. You use dirty money to build modern schools, parks, and hospitals in your hometown. People adore you. They call you the benefactor. You are technically fulfilling your childhood dream of helping the poor. But every night while you look at your empire from an armored balcony, a doubt corrodes you. You do not know if you build these hospitals out of kindness or if you are just raising gigantic monuments to silence the guilt of having become the very demon that killed your father. You are a saint built on a mountain of bones. Just when you think you have won the game, you receive the most brutal termination notice in the world. A massive military operation surrounds your properties. Your partner, the president, has decided that you are a loose end that needs to be cut to improve his international image. He has betrayed you, but he made a rookie mistake. He forgot that in the criminal world loyalty is a myth, but blackmail is a guarantee. You were always foresight. For years you recorded every meeting, every bribe, and every dirty handshake. You do not run away empty-handed. Before escaping, you activate your insurance policy. You leak to the international press terabytes of documents, videos, and audio recordings proving that the government is actually a subsidiary of your cartel. The scandal is nuclear. The president goes from the White House to a federal cell in less than 24 hours, but for you, seeing him in prison is not enough. Betrayal is paid with blood. You send a final order to your last loyal men inside the prison system. The former president suffers a regrettable accident in the prison showers. With the country burning in the political chaos that you caused and your enemies dead, you feel like a genius. You flee towards the coast with $100 million in cash and a fake passport, ready to disappear and enjoy your retirement. Do you think you are the author of your own destiny? You arrive at the dock in the rain, waiting to see the boat that will take you to your new life in Europe. But instead of a captain, you are greeted by a tactical squad. It was not the surveillance cameras or the satellites that found you. It was an internal leak. From the shadows you see your right-hand man emerge, the lieutenant you raised like a son. He looks at you without remorse. He has made a deal with the political enemies of the president you just destroyed. You are the peace offering, the toxic asset that must be eliminated so that the new order can begin. In the corporate world, they call it restructuring. Here they call it betrayal. The trial is a televised spectacle, but the verdict was written before you entered the room. Death penalty. While they strap you to the gurney and the cold needle touches your skin, time breaks. Your life rewinds before your eyes like a film in reverse. You see the buildings you built crumble. You see your enemies resurrect. You see the blood return to your sister and Appo's veins. Suddenly you are 14 years old again. You are standing in front of that lone sign with a broken heart and empty pockets. You wonder what would have happened if you had taken another path. You wonder at what exact moment the boy who wanted to save his people became the monster that destroyed them. And as the darkness swallows you, you realize the final irony. All this empire, all this death, all this pain was the accumulated interest of a $5,000 debt. That is all for today. The story you just heard is a work of fiction, but I am convinced that somewhere in the world there are people going through identical circumstances right now. I hope you were able to extract some valuable lesson from this story. If so, let me know what it is in the comments. I will make similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.